Hey everybody, hope you guys doing okay. So it's like, I mean, I've only been with like 7 or 8 women, sexually speaking. And the one girlfriend I had, we had sex many times, and there was a few friends of benefits where we ended up fucking multiple times. So I mean, I've had a good share of sex. I mean, the past 5, 6, 7 years of my life, I haven't really had shit, but um, I mean, I don't feel that depraved, really. But I've never had like really good, deep, intimate, great sex. And, um, as I look back on it, like knowing what I know now and like seeing how I behaved like in the bedroom or the bed fucking earlier in my life, it's like, well, it makes sense now. Like I really didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It's like, even when like back in the day, I used to go to the gym with my friends and we'd work out all the time and stuff. And like, we'd be talking after working out and stuff, and like they told me how they actually think about like when they're working out, they imagine their muscles and like tearing of the muscles and the growing of the muscles and like getting stronger. Like they actually visualize themselves like getting stronger as they're working out. And it's like I remember them telling me that shit, and it's like I look at it and I'm like, wow, wow, it's like you guys just told me like some secret that I was unaware of. And it was just it was just strange for me to hear that type of shit, and like for them to for like where did you guys hear that? Like it's just common knowledge for them, but like when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is really new information, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And and it's still taken me a long time to really value and appreciate and use the powers of visualization, but it's the same concept with sex. Like I would always, like you're not told how to have sex. Like nobody teaches you sex, or even like the values of it, or the different ways of going about it, or what it can be used for, and like that it can be very healthy for you actually, and it can help you grow and get through things and help you transmutate through challenging periods of your life. Like it can be one of the most beautiful and healing things on this planet, and the most enjoyable thing that you can do, and especially with somebody else, because that's a sacred moment that you guys can share together that I feel can elevate you to a higher dimension. I mean, I really do. If you can really connect with somebody on that type of a cellular level, and you guys are like that entwined with each other's bodies and spirits, I think you can like literally travel to other dimensions and shit. But I've never experienced that with somebody, and I think a lot of that has to do because a number of reasons. I mean, I grew up, as I was 17 years old, and I started doing drugs, and it wasn't, long after I got hard into Oxycontin and painkillers, and that just takes you away from, it just from love. I mean, it dams up your chakras. It literally constipates you. It does all sorts of fucked up shit to your energetic being, so that you're not able to really flow in that type of a loving manner. But that's only part of it. It was also just because I didn't know what the fuck was going on, who I was, what it meant to be a human being. Like, for a long time, I tried to carry this like philosophy that you could be an angel and a demon. You could fuck around with your demon side and fuck around with your angel side, and as long as you were doing both, like you're kind of balancing each other out, and that doesn't work out very well. One of them's gonna eventually it just doesn't work out. It's just a constant fight. You're constantly having to choose which one to feed more, and it's like one or the other is going to win, is what I found. And a lot of times for me, it was my demon. My demon would end up getting me to, I'd feed it, and it would just continue. It just be the hunger, the ferocious appetite would be strong as a motherfucker. So I'd keep on doing the drugs, and I'd keep on down this sick way of living, and that in itself, the desperation, the pain, all of that, the lack of love, of course, if you're in that type of situation, you're not going to be able to have love with anybody because you don't even love yourself. You're not doing anything to help spread the love for the rest of humanity either. So I had a very poor connection with love. And so, and I carried that for a very long time. So all the sex that I would have would be from a place of like a poor connection of love. So I didn't know how to really make love to a woman. It would just be more like me jerking off, just wanting me to get my rocks off. Like I remember, like I would hardly ever think about like, is the girl getting off? Like I'd ask afterwards, like, did you get off? Like, I would be considerate, but like in the moment, to be consciously aware of the other person's body and to like really like connect with them on a an energetic level, to be able to like where you can actually kind of feel what they're feeling, and vice versa, they can feel what you're feeling, and you guys come together in that sacred place. That's what I look forward to now. But, you know, I think you can only really get there when you really are true and honest with who you are and what you really want. And you also got to have that good connection with love. You know, you really got to be about wanting to perpetuate love into the rest of the world and to life, and take care of yourself in a loving way and everybody else in a loving way. And, you know, I don't know. I just woke up today thinking about, it hadn't been on my mind for a little bit, but today I felt like, you know, just thinking about sex and, you know, how long it's been since I've had sex, and then also like the sex that I've had in the past, and like how I would do things differently now. And, you know, like that's really what gives me hope for continuing on. I mean, out of all things, it's, you know, your ability to share. You know, sharing is just a sacred thing, like, you know, and it's like, you know, what could be more intimate and beautiful than sharing like that type of a deep moment with somebody, when y'all's like real passion and heart comes out for each other, and you don't have anything holding back, like it's all out there in the open, and you guys are both just completely vulnerable together, and you're choosing to come together in the most beautiful ways, you know. And it's all about just perpetuating more of that beautiful feeling of you guys coming together and having a good, you know, future, you know, for however long it may last, you know. To me, that seems like the most, you know, sacred and valuable thing, you know, that you could do with your life, you know, is to find somebody who you can have those type of experiences with. But when you're somebody like me in the world that we live in right now, it can be hard to find a partner who shares those type of, in my opinion, sacred values, because we live in a time and place that goes against being sacred. I mean, the true essence of sacredness, I don't have the definition in front of me, but it's like it's having appreciation. It's a cherishing things and in nature and everything around you. That's why like this infrastructure here in America is completely anti-sacred. If it was really sacred, we would not be using oil. We would not be killing animals. We would not be shipping things across the seas just to get shit that we don't need when we can grow it right here. So it's like, this is why we have so much misery, so much pain, so much sickness, so much lack of sacred connection, because we're not living in tune with a sacred lifestyle. So it's like, this is also why people, the sex they have, I mean, there's so much of this lustful sex, but that's not really a sacred energy exchange. It's a lustful energy exchange. And I've done my share of it. I've done my share of it to fucking watching porn, and I know where it leads you. It leads you to a very empty place where you just continue to want more and more and more of that, because while you're doing it, sure, you're feeding that demon so you don't feel the pain in the moment, but as soon as you're done, you know, then it's just, the pain's just that much stronger, and then the only thing you can do is usually, you know, the only thing you think you can do in that moment, because you're in a weaker state, because you've been feeding a weakness inside of you, is to get more of that weakness. But the more of that weakness that you feed, the more weaker you become, and it's just deeper down that fucking, you know, hole you've dug for yourself. So, you know, that's why it's like, it's imperative, in my opinion, for us, if we want to get back to a sacred connection to things and to life and to love and to God and to having good sexual sacred relationships with each other, that we need to live a life that's in line with being sacred. And it's not here in America in like every way possible. So, you know, I've also been thinking about getting a job, but it's like, I know if I start working again, like that's going to take, like, I'm going to be less motivated to work on this project, because like, well, now I've got money, I've got what I need. I don't really need to, you know, I don't have as much of a need to create this for everybody else, you know, because I don't know. I'm in a kind of a strange mood today. So I don't know. I just thought I'd just share how I'm feeling. So, all right, y'all take care. Bye.